Hello and welcome to Africa Today. I am Esther Mokwariola. Often in a habit of holding a dry stick over the shoulders, a faded hat on the head, and a not-too-concealed dagger stuck in the waist, the Fulani herdsman is a common sight across North Nigeria and parts of West Africa, guiding his herd in search of greener pastures to graze on. But that impression of a harmless herdsman seems to be in the past, as communal clashes in recent times are now credited to the suspected nomadic cattlemen who go outside their trade to engage in sinister activities like armed robbery, kidnap, and rape. And so we ask, what are your thoughts on the wave of Fulani herdsmen attacks in some parts of Nigeria? You can join the conversation and share your thoughts with us on Twitter at TVC News NG. We take a report now, and Africa Today will be right back. Welcome on board.
The 73 victims of the recent attacks by militia herdsmen have been laid to rest in Makurdi, Benue State. Governor Samuel Ortom was at the burial site to supervise proceedings. A burial mass had earlier been conducted at the IBB Square in Makurdi, where leaders are taking turns to express their displeasure with the indiscriminate killings of Benue citizens by invaders.
We will continue to insist and call for the arrest of the leadership of Mayor Tiala, especially the secretary and chairman of Dania. They must be prosecuted, because when you allow impunity, you're calling for anarchy.
If a situation calls for this state to raise any number of army, I don't mind, even though I'm getting old, commanding that army.
Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong says he had advised his colleagues, the governor of Benue and Taraba states, to follow due consultations from all sides involved in the herdsmen farmers clash before implementing the anti-grazing bill into law.
I said I will not do the law before implementation. I have not seen rangers. I have not yet developed the ranching areas. So I can't go and say I put a law. To stop who? If I stop the people, what is the alternative? What is the alternative for them? So what you do is, first of all, I say do consultation, allow the people to understand and buy into the concept. I can't implement. There are levels of implementation which requires federal government intervention.
Recently, a meeting on the incessant conflict between Fulani militias and farmers was convened by the Minister of Interior, with the governors of Adamawa, Benue, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Niger and Taraba in attendance. Others in attendance included the Director General of the State Security Service, Inspector General of Police, and the National Security Advisor. The meeting unanimously condemned the conflicts, calling on the police to apprehend the culprits.
Welcome back. Southern leaders are demanding that the federal government declare the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Group and Fulani herdsmen as terrorist groups following the killing of more than 70 people in Benue State in the last 2 weeks. And delegates from all parts of the South and North Central recently met at a rare conference tagged the Handshake Across the Niger, held in Enugu, southeast Nigeria. Well, joining me in the studio on Africa Today, I have Tony Dania, a lawyer, activist, and a social commentator. And on phone, I have Victor Okhai, media consultant and a political analyst. Good to have you gentlemen on the program.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
All right, let me begin with you now, Tony. This is not the first time, neither is it the last, that we've had cases of farmers herdsmen clash. In fact, in 2016, about 2,000 Benue citizens were killed in Agatu by Fulani herdsmen, and that prompted some necessary measures and all of that. But in the case of all this now, it seems to be escalating, despite government efforts on the part of state and federal. Why does this continue to linger?
Yeah, first, the federal government has not done enough to arrest the trend. and we are beginning to notice impunity. The consequences will be anarchy, and I hope we'll do something to prevent that, because people will be forced to want to defend themselves against unprovoked aggression. And this incessant, senseless, permit me to use that word, killings, is not, it's beginning to be generic. It's spread all over the country. While we were still mourning the deaths in Benue, we heard that there were other attacks, yes, in Taraba State, even in Edo State, Ajo, we heard about that too. So I think my fear is that communities will begin to think of defending themselves, and we know the long-term issues. The issue will be that they have to acquire the same kind of weapons with which they are being attacked in order to defend themselves.
Which is not good for us.
It's not good for us, because at the end of the day, I mean, some politicians with respect engage talks, and these talks after the election started using the weapons to torment us. So we hope that we can avoid that situation. We hope that. And the states, I heard what the Plateau State governor was saying. I heard that the Fulani herdsmen were claimed to, claimed that their cattle were stolen.
Stolen, yeah.
And also, what the Plateau State governor was saying, with due respect, is wrong. Nothing can justify that kind of killing. Nothing. I mean, that in his own state, he advised his counterpart in Benue State, he has to agree that you need to be prepared before you establish a law. But that is not an excuse. You see, I read somewhere that sometime after that 2000 massacre by this same Fulani herdsmen, a peace meeting was called. And representative of these Fulani herdsmen came to the meeting with AK-47. And security chiefs were at that meeting. I don't know. I think something should be done. Already, people are using it seriously against the president. One, he did not react as prompt as he was expected to have reacted. It was somewhere within the north commissioning train, something I've forgotten, railway, something. So that is number one. Number two, these people are said to be from his area, Fulanese. And there is this allegation that almost all the heads of the national securities are Fulanese. I have not verified that. I don't know how true that is. But you see, the president should take drastic measure to correct the general impression that he has compromised the security of this country. And that will help him a great deal. No matter how popular he thinks he is, and I hope he's getting all this information, losing the whole of Middle Belt. And if you watch, Nigerians have been talking with one voice. It's not an issue of Muslim or Christian or tribe. Nigerians have all condemned the killings in Benue State.
Right.
Nigerians are not happy with this, and it is scoring low on the president.
Right. Right. Victor, let me quickly come to you now. Is this a case of the government treating this matter with kid gloves, even though it has deployed the IGP to Benue State to find an end to the crisis there?
Well, I would say it is too little, too late. This is not the first time that this is happening. It took the uproar from the public. I mean, when we hear about killings in France and the US, the president is quick to send condolence messages. But when things like that happen in his very backyard, it doesn't respond as promptly, and makes people begin to wonder whether they are really whether the president is truly interested in their situation. Now, the problem I have with this issue of herdsmen is there are so many conflicting stories. In one breath, you will hear that they are not Nigerians, and yet we have immigration at our various borders. In another breath, you will hear a governor, a sitting governor like Okhai saying, we know who they are, and we have gone to appease them, we have paid them so that they will not come back and kill our people. In another breath, you will hear them saying, if you touch a Fulani man, that he is unforgiving, he will come back and attack you. Are you justifying it? What excuse do we have? Look at the massacre. So much blood has been spilled, not just in Benue, in Taraba, and all over the country. What does it take to act and do something about it? IPOB never carried arms, and yet they had to send aircraft after them and use a heavy hammer on them. Nobody knows where Kanu is till tomorrow. You know, these are people who are not carrying any arms and they've been brandished as terrorists, and yet we find it difficult to brandish these who are terrorizing villages all over the country as terrorists. They are not invisible people. They are people that are known, that are seen. That in every local government area there's a police formation. There must be at least one police division. There are police posts all over these places. There are military bases not far off from them. Why are we finding it difficult to locate these people? We have Air Force bases where our helicopters at least in every state capital should be able to get them. Cows are not ants. If you go up in the sky, you'll be able to find them. Why are we finding it difficult? Why is the government finding it difficult to go after these people? And so this is what is causing concern. This is what is agitating Nigerians. This is what is making us feel insecure. This is why the president will find it difficult to convince Nigerians, even as a member of Miyetti Allah, which we know he is, because when this former governor of Oyo State, I'm trying to remember the name now, when they had a clash in Oyo State some time back, he and the former governor of Lagos State, Marwa, you know, personally went there to confront him, you know, in defense of those people. Now, these are the same people that are still carrying out this same attack. And they are finding it difficult, and they are not finding the will, you know, necessary will to go after them. It is something that is truly worrisome.
All right, indeed, this is something to worry about. Well, let's quickly go on a quick break. You're watching Africa Today, and we've been looking at the recent Fulani herdsmen attacks in some parts of Nigeria. We'll discuss with on this after this break. Well, the tension between Fulani herdsmen and farming communities has been in existence for many years, but the dramatic escalation in recent times to include attacks, kidnappings and killings by the nomadic militia. In 2014, over 16 attacks by the herdsmen militia were recorded in Benue State, claiming the lives of more than 200 people between January and May 2015, and about 300 people had died in the state. Now, Tony, let's look at the position of your position on ranching and the anti-open grazing law recently being passed in Benue and, of course, other states in the southwest. Do you think that is the best option, even though the government has come up with this establishment of cattle colonies?
Yes, I will answer that question, but before then, let me quickly say that we have intelligence units all over within the security network. We have the Nigeria Intelligence Agency. We have an intelligence unit in every military force. The Air Force have their intelligence unit. And the primary duty of the Department of State Security is intelligence. So there is no denial of the fact that security offices or agencies are aware. They cannot deny that. They don't know where these Fulanis are coming from. They don't know who they are. They don't know how they operate. They cannot say so. So this is very dangerous for our polity. The fact that the people are feeling that those who are supposed to take charge of their own security seem to have compromised on an issue of some particular set of persons attacking innocent persons and killing with impunity. Having said that, I come to this. We must learn from history. If you look at the history of the Fulanis, you will see that they have always attacked where they are accommodated. And they end up defeating incumbent leaders in their community and take over. And I don't want this to be given religious coloration. I'm a Muslim. I don't want that. Uthman Dan Fodio conquered this area and established a caliphate in Sokoto. If not for the resistance of the Yorubas, in Oyo State, you would have been having emirs there and Fulani ruling. Now, let us copy from how these things are done abroad. It's a private thing, ranches. That is why every state can go on to establish its own law and how it wants it. The Minister for Agriculture, Audu Ogbe, has suggested that we should have
cattle colonies.
Cattle colonies. That means a settlement. And once you have that settlement, you have these people there. I think the anti-grazing law should come up so that they don't destroy private farmers. This thing is also going to affect agriculture. The farmers are afraid to go and farm. But I heard of a community that have resisted the Fulanis, and they don't go there no more. They didn't call government, they didn't talk to anybody. I heard about that. A community resisted them, physically, weapon to weapon. And that is what is likely to happen if federal government continue to fold its hands on this issue. And that it will be so disastrous. We'll be allowing anarchy.
So in your position, you think ranching is the best option here?
Ranching is best, and ranching will enhance business. You only need to comply with the guidelines within this law the state must have created or made. Then you open up a wide feed, provide the food, they pay you, and they come to feed there. The water will be there, so that means they are restricted to a particular area.
So what's your position on cattle colonies?
Cattle colonies will allow large settlement. And when you have large settlement, I am saying let us learn from history. Cattle ranching, cattle colony, they are all ideas traded to prevent further killings. But I am saying that if somebody kills with impunity and tells you to your face that I killed because they stole my cows, and you allow that person, you are encouraging that person. So even if you are going to establish, you are going to encourage the establishment of ranches or colonies, you need to let people know that they cannot take laws into their hands, that we have laws in this country. I agree with the political analyst from Abuja. So IPOD was described as a terrorist group. But what these Fulani Herdsmen have done are almost equal to what Boko Haram are doing.
All right, let me quickly come to Victor now. Victor, let's look at the Fulani's position here. They claim to be, well, victims of cattle rustlers, and even though some of them say that they have a few criminals in their stock, what do you make of this position here? Do you think the Fulanis have a justification, even though it is not right for killing humans for the place of animals? What's your position on what they think could be happening to them in terms of what they do?
Well, cattle rustlers are certainly not from the Middle Belt or from the South, to the best of my knowledge. Most of the cattle rustlers that we know of are up north. They are their fellow Fulanis. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if they feel that they must defend their cattle, I can understand. If you are carrying your cattle in the bush, a lion comes, you must defend your cattle against the lion. If a leopard comes, you must defend your cattle against the leopard. It's natural for any shepherd to be able to do that. But in this, it does not preclude the fact that in this country, you cannot carry arms about illegally. Okay? Now, the excuse of using that as the reason for their carrying arms and attacking people is untenable in this case, because They are the aggressors. They are the ones that go into people's farms. You've seen videos of them going into a farm with yams, the mound of yams, and then they are cutting it into pieces and feeding to their cattle. Now that is inhuman. You know how long it takes for one tuber of yam to germinate, to be planted till when it germinates in the ground, and then for it to come out, all of that, the farmer has gathered everything, and in one day, somebody just comes. How is the farmer a cattle rustler? How is he the aggressor in this case? Usually the cows stray into these farms because for them, anything green is okay. You cannot challenge them. All the cases we have seen so far, in the case of Chifalae, who was kidnapped and who was attacked some time ago by this same cattle herdsmen,
okay.
Was he going after them? Was he trying to steal their cows? Why would they go after him? These are some things we're talking about. The people in Benue, were they interested in stealing their cows? They are not business. It is natural for the farmer to protect his interests. And that's what they were doing. Because these people come, the cows are not intelligent, but they have an intelligent being behind them.
So what is the best way now, Victor, for the government to adopt a lasting solution to end the seemingly unending crisis?
It is simple. It is simple. Nowhere else in the world we have crises such as we have like this, and yet we have them in Niger, we have them in Chad, we have Fulanis in Burkina Faso, across West Africa. None of them is killing like the ones in Nigeria are killing, unless there's something else behind it. I do not support the idea of saying we must create land for them to come. If they want, fine. If the ranches are where they will come and pay for to feed, because nobody has ever given farmers in my village, for instance, or anybody who is going to agriculture, free land for them to farm. You have to buy it or lease the land. If they want, this cattle, these Fulani herdsmen are backed by very rich men. Let them buy land or create the ranches themselves, and then if they want to buy the land across the country, let them buy it, and then at a certain time of the year, take their cattle to those places, restrict those cattle within those confines, let them feed there, and then when it is greener in the north, they can go back there. But not that you coerce or force state governments through terrorism to yield land, and then you want to create colonies where people will now settle, and then you begin to have a further problem of settlership and indigenship. And then you come and see a group of people who say that nobody can come and rule them in their place, that it cannot be ruled by infidels.
All right.
They start creating Serkin Hausawa or Serkin Fulani in a place, and when you say no, then it creates problems. Right. So the solution is the rich men behind this cattle herdsmen should provide branches for them. It's a business.
All right, Victor Okhai, let's leave it at that for now. We'd like to thank you very much because of time for your contributions on Africa Today. Victor Okhai, media consultant and political analyst, speaking there. So now let's wrap up the show with you now with what Victor has just, given out his position on what the government can do in terms of strategies to adopt. Do you think, going back to the grazing reserves as it was practiced in the 50s and 60s could be, in one way or the other, help?
Yeah, grazing reserve is what I use in Sudan. Most of the cows we have in Nigeria came from Sudan. And then we should learn, we've not been hearing of such crises in Sudan. And I agree with the political analyst that we've not had this kind of mindless, artless, senseless killings in other countries where they have cows and they rear cows. So I think the first solution, because we are looking at how to encourage the cattle rearers to continue to maintain their health and all that. And then how to prevent them from taking laws into their hand. There are two different things. They have an association, the Mayati, and all the business persons that are into cattle rearing business are supposed to be members of that group. And now, if rustlers of cattle don't use force, they have a way of stealing the cattle. Now, the Mayati group is there. If a cattle is stolen in a community, for God's sake, Mayati, I've handled cases where they intervene to settle issues. So it's not taking laws into their hand. The Fulani herdsmen must be made to understand, if possible, in the same method that they react to be made to understand that you don't take laws into your hand. You don't enter a community and just start killing.
So by that, what are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say, the federal government should come up very hard on them. They know where they are. I am telling you, if the presidency, either by body language or by words, encourage our security to apprehend the Fulani herdsmen, they will do that. The DSS cannot say they don't know where they are. The military, Nigerian military intelligence cannot say they don't know where they are. They know where they are, they know how to apprehend them. But everybody is feeling that, oh, the president is Fulani. Let's be careful. And they are waiting for directives. As a commissioner of police, you don't need to wait for directive to arrest a crime, particularly when the crime is violent and it's ongoing. You can intervene immediately. So my final take on this is that government must be seen to take sincere, drastic action that will prevent Nigerians from using self-help and self-defense. The law allows you to defend yourself. If somebody is about killing you, if the only thing you can do to make yourself to be alive is to kill, the law allows you to defend yourself. That's why we have self-defense. But you see, sometimes it brings anarchy. And then that's why we try to discourage it. Why would you want to defend yourself when you have the military, you have the police and all that? And by the way, this is not a police issue. This is military. Military should be allowed to intervene in this kind of matter.
All right. Let's leave it at that for now because of time. We'd like to thank you very much, and we hope the government does the needful of protecting its citizens. Tony Dania, lawyer, activist, and social commentator, we really appreciate your time with us on the program. So, well, the dangerous activities of the Fulani herdsmen in different parts of the country have grown to become third on the list of national security concerns in Nigeria, where troops continue to battle militants in the Niger Delta, the Boko Haram and insurgents in the northeast. Although conflicts between Fulani herdsmen and farming communities are far from new, putting a stop to the ugly trend is possible if leaders use every available opportunity to admonish their people on the need to ensure peaceful coexistence. And that is our package for today, but don't forget to join the conversation as usual on Twitter at TVC News NG, and follow me for updates around Africa at Esther TVC News. Until the next one, I am Esther Omokwariola, and always remember, change starts with you.